So the next thing I was going to show you is how to make a tapered handle. So we've got a handle. It's only removable by pure chance because it's really hard to get a fit that's just this perfect where you could drive it in and out predictably. So I'm going to knock this out and show you what I would do if I wanted to make a tapered handle. Give this shaving horse a kick. And so the first thing we need to do is figure out how to taper our hole. And there are a number of options for that. One, of course, is you make yourself a reamer. But then if you want a tapered handle on that reamer blade, body, you're all messed up. You can't do anything. So you need a reamer for your reamer's reamer, which is probably more than you want to get into. So I realized that you can actually ream it out with one of these. It's a 14-inch mill bastard file, which is quite fun to say, and you're not even cussing. And it's what's called a round mill bastard file. And the longer it is, the bigger in diameter it is. So you really do need one this long because the 12-inch one is so much smaller that it falls into your hole. Well, I'll show you how to use, well, actually, let me show you that first. So it's possible if you have just a small file to just file the hole bigger. Now, if you do this, what you want to do is remember that you're going to be putting a tapered wedge in it, basically, and you don't want to split your reamer in half. So you want to take more wood off of the sides of the mortise than you do the end grain. I don't know if you can get a close-up shot of that, but basically you're taking more wood off of here and there than you are here and there. And the reason for that is if it's the opposite, you could split your handle in half because all the pressure of driving this handle in is pushing sideways on this body, and you could split the, body in half. Not the handle, but the body. So you're taking just a tad bit more off of the side grain than you are the end grain doing this. It does not have to be a perfect cone going in there. I make my handles to where they're about a 2-degree taper, and so that's going to lock in most holes that are sort of approximating its shape. In fact, if you put it in there enough, it'll kind of mash the handle to whatever the hole is. So I'm just kind of doing that until it looks just slightly bigger than the other end. It doesn't matter which end you start with, they're identical on this thing. But if you happen to have a 14-inch file, you can chuck it in your bit brace. This is a technique I learned from Curtis Buchanan. He uses it on his comb back chairs to ream the arm rail where the spindles go through. And so if you crank forward, it's great. These teeth are lined up in a screw fashion. They're all angled. You can see it down there where there's some dust highlighting them. And it will screw itself in and split your reamer in half. So what I do is crank forward about a quarter turn to where it's seated and then put a bunch of pressure down and go backwards. And that will actually ream your hole out for you at some unknown taper, but we'll get to that in a minute. So you can take your chips out and keep going. I might put my head against the top of the bit brace. You're trying to keep this thing from going around in a circle up here so that you have a consistent hole going down into the reamer there. So that definitely made a much rounder hole than what I was doing with the file. And I'm just looking to see, you can look down into that hole or at least I can. I can see I've only gone about 2/3 of the way through the body. I've still got bit brace marks on this exit side, but I've got file marks on the top side. So I'm gonna go a little bit further. Probably wouldn't matter, but great. Okay, so now we've reamed this out. Now I'm going to go ahead and mark which is which. So this is the entry side. It's kind of hard to actually see that one side is bigger than the other when when this is such a fine taper. So just mark it, keep track of it. And now we need to know what taper this section of that file is. So the easiest way I thought of to do this was just take a couple boards and lay them next to the reamer, or what I'm using as a reamer, this file. You'll notice that the file is cylindrical down a ways and then starts becoming a convex curve. And so what we need to know is what the angle is at that point. So I'm just going to put the, I don't know if you can, maybe you can see this overhead. Put that in there and then rotate these against the body of the file there until I've got the correct angle so that these boards are parallel with the file right where I was filing, which I can see with all the wood chips that are stuck in there. And then carefully remove the file, and you can, so now that's my angle. Let's see, maybe I need a longer, no, that should work. So we're going to go turn this on the lathe. We're going to go turn it on the lathe. And so we want to know what this taper is. And the easiest way to do that is to just measure the diameter. So actually I will make these a little longer. I'm using a handle that's about 8 or 9 inches long. So maybe my rough length will be 10 inches. So we can come down. Oh, wait a second. Let's see. I'm going to take this diameter here. So this is the exit. Actually, I should just take it off of this. So I'm going to take that diameter there. So this is the exit side of that hole. And then transfer that onto here. Okay, so that's sort of that side of the hole, like that. So it's the exit side of that hole. My entry side is there, and then I want the same amount of handle on either end. So if I want 5 inches, I can line that up with the center, mark 5 inches, and mark 5 inches that way. That'd be a long handle, but it might be a good place to start with our rough blank.